Hey everyone, it's your favorite black single mother here, Samantha the millennial introvert, and I wanted to talk about this story that just came out yesterday on my twins' birthday. Shout out to my babies. So this came from the Hollywood Reporter. It is about Megan Good and Jonathan Majors. So let's just jump right in here. So I basically came and looked her up to see how they were doing because I was watching another video of it was like a fashion video or something that came up, like a shorts on YouTube, and they were talking about like, oh, this is her sister. I did not. She had a sister. She's gorgeous, and they were talking about her sister's husband, and I'm like, oh, I wonder why Megan Good and her sister seem like they just came together. Like, where's Jonathan Majors? So of course y'all know I'm nosy, so I went and Googled and was looking for like their status and how they're doing. And I find out that Megan has made a current statement about her boo. So let's jump right into it. So Megan Good says Jonathan Majors tried to encourage her to not date him. That's a red flag right there. Okay, that's a red flag. Don't nobody know you better than you. So if someone is telling you not to date them, I think I would listen to them. Like, I'm not going to, like, why am I forcing you to allow me to date you when you're telling me not to date you, especially when you're in a whole domestic violence case, in the middle of a whole case. Like, I'm not gonna do it. So Megan, let's see what Megan's up to and what's going on with her. So the Harlem Star recalls the actor trying to quote unquote protect her amid the attention their relationship received during his assault trial. That just doesn't even sound right. Assault trial? Seriously? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't even sound right to me. So Megan Good was hesitant to reveal her relationship with Jonathan Majors. Speaking with People magazine about her romance with the actor, Good says someone saw us somewhere going to a movie and then kind of reported it, and it was like, should we shut it down or not? And I was like, no, because people have a perception of you that's not true, a perception of who you date that's not true. Continued Good. So if this is what it is, then at some point they're going to find out. What possessed my Megan? I love me some Megan Good, y'all. Like, what possessed her to date this brother that is going through a domestic violence case with a white girl? I'm just so lost, y'all. Like, when did they happen? Like, when did this start? When did they become a thing? Because I'm like, so I'm just confused because I'm like, I have to look at dates and timelines because I'm just like, wasn't he just with the white girl? And that's why they got in a fight because I think he was checking his phone and the white girl wanted to know who he was talking to or something. And so now she's running like 20 blocks down the street in New York or wherever they were chasing Jonathan Majors. It was like a whole lot of drama. And I wonder, like, through all of that, in the midst of all that, like, was Megan the one he was texting? I just don't know. Like, it's like the drama is drama-ing right now. So let me keep going. So so Megan is like, just want to put it all out there. And I really think that was smart to do because, actually, no, let me stop lying. I don't think it was smart to do. I would have kept it completely under wraps. I would have hid it like it was my job. Nobody named mama. Like, I would have been the queen of Janet Jackson and Mariah Carey. Like, you're not gonna know who I'm dating until we break up, and even you ain't even gonna know then. So let's keep. I'm just not telling nobody, okay? So, oh yeah, y'all. Megan Good has a movie out it's either on Netflix or Amazon Prime, and I'm just like, I need to prepare myself to watch her because I was really kind of like, I'm not going to support her because she's making black women look bad. So I'm like, do I want to support her? But so I'm kind of on the fence. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of on the fence, and I'm really angry that a black male has put me in his position because I love supporting black women. I love Megan Good. She's a phenomenal actress. I've loved her since Eve's Bayou. I think I was a child when I first saw that. And I just loved her for decades. So it's really quite unfortunate that I have to now second guess myself when I want to watch something by one of my favorite, like a really talented actress. I wouldn't really say favorite. I I never had an issue with Megan Good because I never really like paid much attention to her. She usually was pretty like out of the spotlight. If she wasn't promoting a movie, she's just kind of quiet. She doesn't really have scandal. And I know aside from her getting married to her ex, don't give me the line, y'all, because I don't know his name. I do not know his name. Oh my gosh. He wasn't a pastor, was he? Hold on one second. Devon Franklin, because I did not remember his name for the life of me. I cannot believe they were married 10 years, y'all. Like, it feels like they were married for like a week. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if it's because I wasn't like really paying much attention to them, or if they were just really quietly just being together. I have no clue. I'm not gonna lie, I think marriages are very boring. So I don't really have. I was listening to this other guy's channel, and he was somehow how he thinks single life is boring. Like when he wouldn't focus much on single people life because he thinks it's boring. And I'm like, you know what's so funny? I actually think married life is very boring. It's very monotonous. And just like he was saying, you know, he was single once because obviously, like, you're not born with a spouse. Just like people think that, you know, when you're a single mother, you never was child free ever in life. It's like I wasn't born with a baby in my stomach, child. Like, please get it together. So, you know, like just like he was single once, I was married. So we have experience on both sides of the aisle, so to speak. And I think marriages are boring. Like, I don't like watching like married people doing stuff. It just doesn't like have any. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't know. Even like relationships, I'm just not even interested in relationships right now at all. But like marriage is just like boring. Like, it's like, okay, so I was watching this one show, and it's on Netflix. It's called Desperate Lies, right? Which is just a very accurate title for a movie about. Actually, it was a series on Netflix about marriage. This married couple, and their marriage was all kinds of lies. So her sister-in-law was dating this doctor, and I think she became a doctor. I think she was like a physician assistant or something, and then she like went to school and was becoming a doctor or whatever. So, but they were dating, and he wanted to marry her, and he was asking her for like 10 years to marry him, and she was just like, why? And I'm like, that is so my energy. Like, why are we having to like mess up a good thing? Because I just feel like you could be doing so great, and then you get married, and it's just like the weight of that title. It just, like, here come the rules. And then it's just boring. Like, you're with the same person every day. You got to, like, if you had to spice things up, or you have to schedule sex, like if you had to do all that stuff, I'm like, this is too much effort. It's too much. And I know people like find benefit in it because they're like, oh, the kids are in a stable home, which that remains to be seen, because I have plenty of stories and videos I'm going to be doing about the quote unquote beloved 2-parent household. But you know, it's just like people, or like when it comes to money, like a lot of people are together for financial reasons, if we want to keep it a buck. And so I just don't think that's a good enough reason to be with somebody, like, and especially to marry them just because of the money. Like, I'm like, y'all don't even like each other, but you're together for the kids, the money, everything but each other. Like, you're together for every reason but each other. Like, that's not life. Like, what are we doing here? And it's like you are living a lie. So is that better to show your children you unhappy living a lie, or just be with who you really want to be with? And if you get married, you get married. If you don't, you don't. Me personally, like I said, boring. Like, I just hate it. I hate marriage. I hate it. Every day that goes by, I hate it more than I did the day before. I don't see anyone or anything that's making me think, oh, it's looking better today. Like, no, it's just every day I look at people in their marriages, or women being so thirsty and pressed on a marriage. Like, I just despise it more than I did the day before. And that's just what it is. And I just keep seeing these articles and stuff that just makes me hate it even more. Every time I see a male unaliving his wife, or cheating or whatever. I'm just like, why are people doing this still in 2024? Just, and I mean, to be fair, marriage is declining, on the decline, and it's been on decline for a minute. But I don't know. I'm just surprised that as many people get married that do, even the people who still are getting married. Even if, like I say, like if it was 20% of the population, I would still be surprised as that high. Like, why are you doing this? You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this because it's very highly likely you guys are not gonna last. So, and people be like, "Oh, you're a hater. You're a hater. You're a hater." And it's like, child, like literally anybody can get married. That's not an accomplishment. And I was reading something, this one lady, I wish I could remember where it was, and she was talking about her accomplishments, and she was like, I'm married and I'm this and I'm that. And I'm like, when did marriage become an accomplishment? That is odd. Like, okay, like what does that mean? Like, it means you were nice enough to hook a man, or are you cooking good so you're getting a man, or is you putting it down in the bedroom? Like, I just don't understand how that's an accomplishment, and why is that anybody's business? Because let's keep it real, like most people that are married, they don't really talk about their marriage. They like very close-lipped because everybody wants to act like their marriage is something it's not. So in all reality, it's like, what does your marriage really have to do with me, or really anyone for that matter? Like, whether you're married, not married, like what's the difference? Like, what's the difference? Because this one lady, she was I was watching my true crime shows, and of course her husband killed her, but she was always doing a lot. She was one of those like PTA moms, always, volunteering at her kids' school and doing all this great stuff. And she said like one day, like her friend said like one day somebody said something about the wife who her husband's never with her at the school or anywhere. This other parent was like, man, she's such an amazing single parent. Like, I don't know how she does it. And her friend was like, she's married. So it was like, yeah. So it was like, people were just thinking, assuming she was single because her husband was never around. And then, of course, he was, the story came out, he was cheating on her. Then he unalived her so that he could, like, get the kids and the money and not have to, like, pay for it. It was a whole thing. So I was just like, wow, this is like, really sad. Um, and I've been there. Like, I've been there where I was in a relationship. And I'm like, if I'm in a relationship and I'm still doing everything by myself, like, why am I with you? Like, just why? Like, what is your purpose here? Whether I'm married to you or not, like, what is your purpose? I just start to like, what do you call it? Look at people. I would just start to look at the guy I'm dating differently, and it's not going to make it go away. It's going to be negative, and I'm just going to be looking at him like, you're worthless to me. You're pointless. Why am I with you? And that's just what it is, because people usually date for companionship. And if you have a partner where they won't do things with you, they're always like, oh, I don't want to go, or I'm just going to watch TV. You can go by yourself. Like, why am I with you again? Because relationships slash marriages are way too much work to be with somebody who, like, doesn't really seem to like you. Like, they don't really ever want to go do things with you. They're kind of like, hey, jealous of you, low key jealous. And as I mean, I'm talking about my abusive relationship that I got out of like a few years ago, but they just be like your biggest hater, and you're sleeping with the enemy. And I'm just like, no, 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 no. So, anyways, I was on to talk. Let's get back on Megan Good and her love life. So, of course, like I said, she was married to Devon Franklin for 10 years, which is so shocking to me because I don't know why. I just feel like it's like you blink and they were over. They were divorced. Like, I guess too, because like no kids came out of it. What was the purpose of it? I never felt like she really liked him and he liked her. Like, it just seemed like she was trying so hard to be something she wasn't majority of the time. And because I always used to see her in like even right now, like her little sexy outfits, and she was always very sensual and just a beautiful woman. And it's like once she got with him, it's like, oh, I'm trying to cover up. I'm going to church a lot. She kind of like morphed into this new person, and it was weird. And she spoke about that. Like once they got a divorce, she was talking about, some of that stuff that you have to do when you get married. You just become like another person. You have to like follow these rules. And if you're not really particularly religious, it makes it that much harder to want to do those things, because you're just like, why am I doing this to myself? This is not even me. I went through that. Like the first few years of my marriage, I was trying to be like the perfect wife. So I was dressing like a grandma so I wouldn't be revealing too much of my body. And that has never been me. I love fashion. I've always been like the fashionista of my entire family. Anyone I'm around, I love my fashion. And I just like let it go. I was dressing like a suburban mommy, and I had the kids, and I was taking them to the playground. And I'm just like, ugh, I was so miserable. So miserable. So anyways, let me get back to this part right here. So here it says the divorce in the Black Star. And this is actually another reason why I didn't watch this movie yet, is because it's talking about marriage and divorce and bad marriages. And I'm like, I don't want any parts of that. Like I'm not interested in that, to be honest. So I would watch it because Megan Good is in it and nothing else is on. But anyways, let me keep going. So the divorce in the Black Star explained that Majors, quote unquote, actually tried to encourage me to not be with him. He wanted to protect me. Or maybe he just wanted to hide you, honey. But I'm going to shut up, okay? I'm going to hush. Okay, so however, Good was unfazed by the attention surrounding the relationship. I was like, quote unquote, my love, first of all, you're dealing with a Black Leo. Girl, I knew there was something about Megan because I'm a Black Leo, and so is my sister. So I'm like, there's like some connection there, because it's like, even though I want to let her go and boycott her, I'm not going to do it. And that's probably like why, because we are spiritual sisters or something. So oh my gosh, I love her more than I did before now. So she said, and also I grew up in this industry. The things that I've been through gave me the bandwidth to love other people regardless. So on that note, like I want to say, Leo's one. We usually do believe in love, no matter what, how many times we get knocked down, we're going to believe in some love. And we also love. So if anybody's going to be polyamorous or just marching to the beat of our own drum when we define what love looks like, it's going to be a Black Leo. It's going to be a Leo. It's going to be a Leo. And I used to be like defiant about someone taking that ability away from me to love authentically and completely. And I feel like I still could do that if I wanted to, but I think like now that I'm getting older and more wiser and mature, and I'm learning things and just becoming more like, I'm like sharpening my skills more, I feel like I can turn it off. And then when I want to be there, I'll do that. If it's time to walk away, I can do that too. And I'm just becoming like better at that. So, but yeah, when you're a Leo, that's one thing about it is like, we definitely don't get jealous. We don't really we're not going to be as traditional when it comes to love. We're going to be more authentic when it comes to love. Like we love because we really genuinely love our partner. We're not loving what we look like to the public or what people want us to be in the church and etc. We're loving to love. So we don't care what that looks like to everyone else. Because honestly, the way I think I would say Leo's role, like whoever you're with, like whether you're polyamorous or not, the people that are your partners, like we're so loyal to them and so committed. It's like you could be in a room full of like 500 people, and if your person is there, like it's the only you only have eyes for your person. It's like no one else in the room exists. No one else. And the loyalty and the commitment is comparable. Like you can't compare it to anything else. And there's really nothing like it. There's really nothing like a woman. I'm speaking more for women. I've never dated a Leo guy. And the time I said that, I literally met like two Leo guys back to back like a couple of years ago, and it was awful. So Leo guys, they are, if you think about like a lion, I mean, they're usually very sexy and charismatic. So, but it's like as usual, I just feel like males always pervert their power. They always abuse their power. Whatever talent, skills, whatever they have, it's like they're like the dark side of women. So it's like you're the female Leo is loving, and she's going to use her skills to like build a nation. And it's like the males would be like, how many women can I get in bed tonight? And it's like they're just always trying to like get over. And this is just males in general. So I am not surprised Megan Good is a Leo, and a black Leo at that. I love the sound of that. But so yeah, she says she grew up in this industry and she's just not really concerned what people think about her, which I'm not even mad at that at all. Like, just because I don't agree with what you're doing, like I can be happy for people, but that does not mean I have to like what you're doing, if that makes any sense. Like, some people think like I had to like you had to be a carbon copy of me for me to get along. No, people are different, and I'm very open minded. So I don't really care. Like, if you're gay and I'm not, if you're, dating someone I don't care for, like it doesn't faze me. It's not going to be part of like how I identify myself with our relationship, like whether it's my sister or my best friend or my mother or whoever, because they definitely date people I don't care for. But you have, and it's like even with that person themselves, like people that I love, like I'm not going to try to define them or put them in a box. You get to grow with me. You get to become who you are and show up as your authentic self. And I'm going to give you that space, because to me, that's what true love is. True love is not trying to shape and mold someone into what you want them to be. True love, to me, when you genuinely, truly love someone, you are allowing them, and I wouldn't even say allow because they don't need my permission, but you're just letting people be. And that's however they're showing up. You're letting them be who they are. And to me, that is true love. When you're having, to me, it is conditional love. When you're sitting there like, okay, I love you if you do this, or I love you if you stop dating this person, or whatever. It's like, that's not true love. It's very conditional. There really is no such thing as conditional love. It's not love if it has any conditions on it. So anyways, let me keep going. So she said, so when we got together, it was like, this is going to be a lot, but you got the right one. She said, okay, Miss Good. So Good and Major's romance was made public in May 2023 after a witness tipped off TMZ that the couple went on a date to Alamo Drafthouse. Yeah, I felt like their relationship came out of nowhere, but I do remember it was kind of like leaked almost. Like, you could tell like they weren't really trying to announce it, because I feel like I saw a picture or something with TMZ. Like when TMZ shows their photos, on their website or wherever, on TV or something, usually the celebrities don't even know they're there. They're just literally just going about their lives, and they're getting a photo snap of them. And that's what I remember with Megan and Jonathan Majors. It was like they were like going somewhere, and boom, there they are. And it's like, now it's like this complete media blitz, like, whoa, Megan is with Jonathan Majors is dating Megan Good. Like, it was like this big deal. But I don't remember them really talking about it. Like I said, I feel like Megan's always been kind of quiet about her relationships, like even with Devon Franklin. And I think that's why it does feel like they weren't married that long. Because when I just saw 10 years, I'm like, my goodness, like they were married 10 years? Because I don't feel like I really heard much about them. I could say that even with like Tamara Mallory and her ex-husband. You don't really hear much about it. And I don't mind that, because a lot of times, typically, I don't really know about the guy much. I would usually know of the guy because of his wife. Like, usually I'm watching the wife as an actress, or she's a singer or something like that. And then I'm like, oh, okay, so that's who her husband is, because I know of her first and foremost. So months later, in December, Majors was found guilty of reckless assault in the third degree and harassment. He was then sentenced to a 52-week domestic violence program. Now, this is really triggering for me to talk about DV, relationships. And I think I would like to wonder, like, how does she know that he wasn't that person? That's what I'd want to know. Like, how do you know that you weren't there? I know we saw the video, but like at the end of the day, because I saw the video, I saw some of the video, and then I heard them, I think, on some conversations they were having. I don't know if it was a recording, like a voicemail, or I can't remember. And then I also saw like text messages like between the two of them. I would just be so paranoid. Like, how do you know this person is not that abusive person? Because all she can go off of is what he tells her. And I'm so confused. Like, when I watched it, I was like, one minute it did look crazy, like she was chasing him. Then another minute he was telling her, like, I didn't mean to hit your head on the table or something. It was just like, like it sounded like he was like trying to cover up something he did to the white girl. And I'm like, what is going on with these two? But so it's like, I really didn't know. And I feel like if it's a gray area for me, it would be like it would just be off a deal breaker. It would be a deal breaker. Like, I cannot go into a relationship already knowing that you even potentially could be a domestic violence abuser. Because it's like, if people have that in them, then it's gonna come out. Like, I don't know. It's like, who's to say, like, one day when y'all are really arguing, he's not gonna just like hit you? Like, I don't know. I would be very uncomfortable with that. So I think that was very bold of her to move forward with him, because I know I wouldn't have been able to do that. There's actually another couple I wanted to talk about, and I cannot remember their name, but I'm going to do a video because it just reminded me of this story I just read recently, where the woman was unalived by her partner. And I think I'm remembering it as I'm talking right now, but I don't remember their names, but I see their faces. Like, she knew he was abusive before she even like married him. Like, they dated for like 6 to 10 years or something like that, like a long time before they even got married. And when women do things like that, I'm just like, what is happening there? Like, do you think it's going to get better, like, once you marry him? I don't know if that's like a naive thing or a lack of experience in the dating realm thing, or what's going on with that. But I just feel like things always get worse once you get married. The more you add, the more commitment things you're adding on to the two of you, like you and your partner, it just gets like harder. So when you're just dating, it's like, okay, we're kind of like more free. But then once you're like, okay, now we're married, harder. We bought our house together, harder than the marriage, because now you're married and you're trying to pay for a mortgage, and we moved in together. So it's like, that's another commitment, harder. Then we had a kid, harder than, like, this third level harder than the marriage and then the house. And it's like even like you get a puppy, it's like hard, even more harder, because it's like every time you commit to something, I had to figure this out the hard way, so I'm trying to educate y'all, because every time you commit to something, it may sound like it's self-explanatory that it's going to be hard, but I don't think people really think about it. I think people just think about their happiness, and they think, I love this person, I'm going to marry this person. I want a baby, I'm going to go have a baby. We want to buy a house, let's go buy a house. We want a dog, let's get a dog. We want the American dream. But people don't think about the real energy and time and money that it's going to take to get through all those commitments. They don't really sit down and think, okay, if we add this in, how much time? Because it really does come down to time, but money as well. And a lot of times couples, that's the main thing they're fighting about, is the lack of money, the lack of sex, the lack of, they're kind of like falling, they're basically going in like different directions, because they're not really like as connected anymore, because they're spending so much time focused on these different commitments that they have in their lives. And it's like, that's when usually couples are like, oh, we grew apart, because that's what's going to happen if you're like always just like taking care of the kids, and he's working late, or you have to get the dog wherever, and he's sick or something. It's just always going to be something. Like, say like the house, the mortgage payment is big, and so he has to work a lot to pay the mortgage, so on and so forth. It's just it just really weighs on you. And so I think that's something that people should definitely pay more attention to. And so if you already have a shaky relationship, do not get married. Do not get married. I've seen so many couples, because some people would be like, oh, you got together too fast. I've seen so many couples that it's like almost like the opposite of what people think it would be, where the longer you date, when you get, like, people can date, like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, for example. You could date for like 20 years, and time they get married, they're literally like divorced and breaking up like the next year, because it's just a whole different dynamic that nobody talks about. And that's what I'm going to talk about, because you guys know I don't sugarcoat or really hide anything. And I'm like, we're going to talk about the taboo stuff, the stigma, the stuff that no one wants to talk about because they want to live in fairy tale land, or be a sheep and think like the next person, and God forbid they swerve off and think something different. I could care less. So those are the things I talk about that people don't want to talk about, but they're thinking it, or they're suffering because they're trying to live in denial. And yeah, it's like, you just shouldn't want to get into something that is already bad. It's already bad. And that's why I liked this show that I was watching, Desperate Lies, because she was like, why do we want to mess this up? It's good. It's good where we are. Like, why do we have to move in together and do the marriage thing? Like, she was a doctor almost in her own right, and she had one kid. He was a doctor. I don't know if he had kids. They were just kind of like focused on her life for the show or whatever. So he would always be at her house. They never really talked about him having a life outside of hers. So they were clearly capable, able-bodied adults taking care of business, doing the damn thing. I mean, they were doctors, so they were doing things on their own. So it's like, great, I have a partner to do things with. So I don't know why I need to like merge my life with you and just I don't know why it has to ever like keep going upwards. Like, just leave it where it's at, because it's like time she finally said yes to him. And I don't remember why she did, but I feel like he kind of gave her like almost like an ultimatum, like, I'm not going to wait forever kind of thing. Like, he may not have came out right and said it, but that's kind of vibe I got. And that's another thing. You don't want to give people ultimatums, but they finally got married, and you could tell she was just irritated with him being like up under her in the house, just around. And then he ended up having the nerve to retire. So it's like, now you're going to be around me more. And that's why during COVID, so many people like got divorced, because a lot of people were fine being married until they had to spend like more time with their spouse. And then it was like, yeah, about that. Like, we can't do this. Like, it's like, it just was so funny to me, because I'm like, so people are basically out here being married 20, 30 years, bragging about it. But the only reason why you were able to get through that long of marriage is because you really weren't really around each other much. Like, now that you actually have to look at each other more because everything's shut down and we're like battling a whole global pandemic, people just couldn't stand to be around their spouse. And I'm like, wow, like that's crazy. And the reality is, a lot of spouses do just hate each other. And I feel like that happens because people when you don't get along with someone, you just build resentment. And I don't think humans, like, I know for a fact, like Americans, I don't feel like we really have figured out, because I can only speak for my country because I'm not in other cultures, but I just feel like we haven't figured out how to forgive people. Like, it sounds good in theory, people talk about it, but do we ever really forgive and forget when people do things to like get on our last nerve or hurt us or whatever? And I'm not talking about even infidelity yet. Like, I'm not even on that. I'm talking about just like, I don't know, like if he just called you out your name one day, y'all were fighting, he called you the B word, or like you wanted to go somewhere and he was like, I don't feel like it, you go by yourself. Like, just different things. It just builds up and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And it's like, one day you just look at them like, I do not like this motherfucker. Like, why? I don't like this dude. Like, why am I married to him? Like, you do not like your partner. And I remember I went out on the town with my girlfriend. This is my last story before I get back to the article. But I remember I went out on the town with my girlfriend, and it was crazy because like she had just got married to her husband, and they actually dated. He was I'm gonna keep it real. He was a pedophile. He dated her. She was underage. Okay, we gonna say it. So he was older. He was a grown man, and he was dating her for like a lot of years while she was still in school, and he was a grown man. So we're not gonna talk about that. But yeah. So that's weird. But anyways, and of course, like we're younger, so we thought we were grown back then. So we really didn't judge, and I'm not even judging it now. I'm just gonna say it like it is. That's what was happening. She was underage, and he was like with her. I don't know why that was okay, but we're gonna keep going with the story. She was the sweetest girl. So, she married her husband once we graduated high school, of course, and all that. And I mean, it was like right away they got married, like time she was 18. So, but I came back from the military, and she hit me up. It was like, girl, let's go out. I just got my PMP certification. It was really hard, and I was like, okay, girl. Like we went out to celebrate. So we were going to the club, and she was like, it was like out of nowhere. Like we were just walking in DC, heading to the club, just girls' night out, just cars everywhere, people around. And it's like out of nowhere. She was just like, I don't know why I got married. Okay. I was like, awkward. Like, ooh, girl, I think honestly, I don't even remember what I said because it was a long, long time. They're still married, good for them if she's happy. But it was a long time because I love her. I just love her. I don't know anything about her husband, to be honest. I don't be around people's husbands. I'm like, whatever. Love my girl. We were besties forever. But I don't even know what I said because it was a long time ago, and I was just like, I don't know what to say about that. Like, because you don't want to like get involved in people's marriages either. That's like a whole nother thing. Like that reason why I don't care for marriages, because people just act like, oh, it's just so sacred. And it's like, well, don't tell me about it then. Like, I don't want to hear your grievances, like that you don't like being married because you act like it's so special that people can't put their 3 cents in it. And when they do, then they try to like, oh, we're locking ranks. We're married and we're doing this. And it's like, you're the one that invited me into your BS. Like, I didn't ask for this, because I didn't ask her anything about her marriage. We were going out to the club, and she's the one that's saying she didn't want to be married. She really literally just said she did not want to be married. And I feel like he might be controlling her. He probably was grooming her when she was underage. And, of course, with me being the same age as her, I didn't recognize the signs because I was young too. And I actually was dating I will say, like, I've dated like maybe one or two guys, like a few guys that were like older. Like, we thought it was cute, back then we thought it was cute. But then when I became a woman myself and my brain finished developing at like 24-ish, 25-ish, I was like, man, like he was like a whole pedophile. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, you just be looking at the whole world just opened up. We look at it all completely different, especially once you have children and suddenly everything is a threat to your baby. So it's like your radar just goes like sky high, like you just be like can spot danger a mile away. And so like by then I'd had like my eldest son, who is 20 now, but I had him, and he, I just saw things differently once I had him, and I was getting a little bit older, and I was like, wow, like that dude was like a pedophile. And I remember when I realized, like, I was traumatized. Like, I was traumatized. I literally just like had to like lay down and just kind of like sit with that. Like, wow, like I don't know if I should be getting therapy or what's happening there. I don't know if that was daddy issues. Like, I don't know, because all my friends and I were doing it. We thought it was cool. We would do it because they had cars, they had apartments, so if you wanted to hang out, and of course we're in high school at the time. We weren't in middle school or elementary school. So, if you want to hang out, you want to hang out without supervision. So you can do what you want, and we would have like these big parties, like, and, it was cool, but it was really like eye-opening once I realized, like, wow, I was basically like a whole victim and didn't realize it, and that was highly problematic. But yeah, anyways, anyways, I just feel like when people date a long time and then they get married, yeah, I could see her being with her husband forever because her parents stayed married forever. And some people just do that, and whether it's bad or good, they're just gonna stay together. It's like, we've committed to this. We're doing this, and good for them. That's what I have to say for that. So let me get back to this article. Okay, so Majors allegedly injured his ex-partner, Grace Jabari. I don't know why we're saying allegedly. Wasn't he found guilty for that? Make it make sense. Because, like, they just said that he was found guilty of reckless assault in the 3rd degree and harassment. Now they're talking about, oh, he allegedly, no, he did injure her. That's what the court said. That's what the jury said. So Grace Jabari is the ex-partner. And this happened during a domestic dispute in March 2023. Jabari testified that while in Majors' car, she saw a text on his phone that read, "Oh, how I wish to be kissing you," suggesting that he was cheating on her. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, was that Megan? Girl. So according to Jabari, she grabbed Majors' phone, and the actor reacted by assaulting her, including hitting her head as he attempted to grab his phone from her. You know what I think now that I'm reading this? Something just came to me. Like, I feel like white people were mad that this black man was not completely kissing this blonde white woman's ass. Like, he was basically cheating on her. And then, especially, like, if it was Megan Good, like, you're cheating on her with a black woman, how dare you? Because they're supposed to be the standard of beauty, let them tell it. So I feel like that might have been some of the reason why they were just, like, so intent in finding him guilty for something that honestly I didn't see in that video where she chased him down the street forever. Like, I definitely feel like she was more the aggressor. Like, I can see what I saw was a man who was trying to get her ass to get in the car. Like, that's what I saw. I saw somebody who didn't want to deal with her. He was like, go take yourself home. And she didn't want to leave. And it's like, so what was he supposed to do? Like, leave her out there on the street? He literally was running from her. So I thought that was kind of crazy. Because they're like, oh, well, he broke her finger. Because she wouldn't leave. She was being very intrusive. Like, first, you're taking my phone, which is a problem. I don't know how serious they were. They could have just been talking. Like, I just don't feel like I felt like there was this vibe of, like, maybe they're seeing other people. Because, he's a celebrity. I don't know who she is, but what was their level of commitment to each other? Did they ever say they were going to be exclusive? Did she have a right to be grabbing his phone and going through his privacy and just, like, violating that? And so I felt like he was very restrained to just try to put her in the car and be like, go home. Because it's like, you, at that point, one, he's probably most likely cheating on you. Okay. So he's not feeling you. Like, when they say he's just not that into you, he wasn't feeling her like that. He clearly said he wanted to be kissing someone else. He wished he was kissing someone else. And so he was trying to put her tail in the car so she could leave. And I think that's why she was like, I'm not leaving. Because she probably knew that he was going to be kissing on somebody else if she went home. So she, like, was determined to stick by him. But I feel like it was a lot of things going on with him. Like, one, he knew he wanted to be kissing somebody else. He wanted to be with somebody else. I don't know if it was Megan. I'm not sure. But then he also, sometimes you just know, like, if we end up back at the house together, it's going to be a fight. Like, we're going to fight. So it's better if we just separate until we cool down. That's how I would see things, because I don't like arguing. So I felt like that's what the vibe was there. It was like, just go home and we'll talk later when we both cool down, because we don't want to do something we're going to regret, which is what happened. He ended up, cops called. Now she's, playing the victim card and probably crying, using her white tears and white privilege to say, oh, this big black guy, da da da. And to that end, I don't feel sorry for him at all, because black males put themselves in these positions like they don't know what our history is. So it's like, okay, that's what you're doing. So I really didn't give a crap what was going on with him, but I will be honest and truthful when I say, like, what I saw. And what I saw was a head case. I feel like they may have both been maybe on something, like drinking or something, a little bit, tipsy or something. And I just saw, like, an unhinged white female that was, like, jealous and very angry that she saw something in his phone. And now, you're touching on a woman's insecurity, because she's like, if I leave, you're going to go be with that other woman. Is that why you're trying to get rid of me? When in reality, he probably could have just been trying to get rid of her because he just wanted to go home and go to sleep, or he had to get up early tomorrow for his acting gig or whatever he's doing, or hit the gym, whatever. Because you had to get up early in the morning to go to that gym so you can, get it out of the way. But, or it could have been like he just knew, I'm a big black dude, you're a white girl, like we cannot be in my apartment with our elevated tempers and things just happening. Like now I'm getting, accused of stuff, like kind of like the other incident, I guess, that happened where they were texting and she was like, I don't know, like people are saying I should say this or whatever was going on. I feel like that was her still being manipulative to some degree. Like, I don't know. I feel like she was like hanging it over his head. Like, if you don't be with me, I'm going to tell people like this is what you did to me. And even with writing in the text message, it was kind of stupid because I felt like she has proof to use against you, which I think is what she did in court because I really didn't watch the case. But yeah, it was just messy. And that's why I don't do relationships because I'm like, ooh, ain't nobody got time for all that. But that's what I saw. I saw them fighting, and she was mad because he was wishing he was kissing somebody else. It could have been Megan. Now that I look back on it, because Megan said they were dating, and the timeline is kind of fuzzy because I felt like that happened. All that stuff happened with him in the car with her. And next thing I know, they were in court. So it was like, I don't know if it's because she's white, but it seemed like they didn't waste any time dragging his ass in the court and giving him a trial and, arresting him, put him on trial. They did not care that he was a whole celebrity worth millions, none of that. I mean, I think he had like a really big deal a movie deal that was happening that he lost that to the BS that he was doing with this girl. So anyways, so it said, according to Jabari, she grabbed Major's phone and the actor reacted by assaulting her. I did not see that. I just didn't see that. And for me to say that means something because I don't stand for black males at all. So for me to say that, like I'm saying, I'm just going to say the truth. I did not see him assault. I actually thought he was very gentle with trying to put her in the car. Like, he's like, how do you be gentle when you trying to tell somebody, leave me alone? Like, I feel like if anything, it was her that was being aggressive. And I think the driver even said that she was the aggressor. Because I'm like, girl, like, just go home. He's not that into you. You just saw what was on his phone. I'd be like, okay, not a problem. I'm out. Like, you ain't never got to worry about me again, okay? So they said that he assaulted her, including hitting her head as he attempted to grab his phone from her. That clearly was an accident. Because why did she have his phone to begin with, right? It's like, isn't that already a problem? Like, you literally stole my phone from me. You have possession of my phone. It's not yours. So that's like, to me, he's trying to get his own property back. And him hitting her, that's an accident at that point. But I think that's an honest... Now to me, it's like she created that environment that was going to be hostile. It was going to be physical, despite how black males always say, non-black women are more docile and passive and submissive. She was everything but that. So she took his phone. She was fighting him. And I think any normal person, because I thought that's what the jury would do, is say, okay, based on like a normal person, this is how they would react. I thought that would be taken into consideration because I know most normal people would be like, give me my phone back. And they'd be trying to get their phone back because especially these phones they're not cheap. And a lot of people do a lot of things with their phone. Like, we have a lot of stuff in it. And it's very, very important, especially for like an actor. His phone is probably like his lifeline. So her grabbing it, and to me, it's just really violating. It's like, it's not... Like, I just got the vibe that they weren't even on that level to, like, be doing all that. It was just, I don't know, it was weird. So, anyways. So they said he hit her head as he was trying to get his phone back. He also allegedly threw her back in the car after she tried to exit, which he did not throw her. Trust me. If he wanted to throw her little skinny stuff in the car, he could have threw her in the car. He just, like, kind of, like, tried to gently put her back into the car. Like, he almost, like, could pick her up like you would put a child in a car seat, like put the person in the car, but because she was fighting him, she was so intent on being up his ass. It's like, what choice did he have? I felt like at some point this is him. This is his self defense because like what? Like she's attacking me. She took my phone. She won't leave me alone. Now I'm running away from her. Like it's just like oh my gosh. But I was like, this is not our a black woman's problem because like yeah, it's just not. They don't. Black males have shown so much vitriol to black women for so many decades. I don't have any feelings or anything about them. Like they're not my problem. If you're not a family member of mine and we don't share blood, you're not my problem. So following his guilty verdict, the New York Times interviewed two women who alleged Majors had physically and emotionally abused them during their respective relationships. And I wonder what color they are. But yet black males try to act like it's black women who've brought them down. We know that's a whole lie. And through his lawyer, Majors denied the accusations, alleging that while the relationships were toxic, he was not abusive towards his former partners. And he has to look at himself. He should have chose better because why do you keep ending up with these toxic relationships? Let me be nosy for a little bit. It's kind of weird because they barely talked about Megan. Like they kind of started the article like we're going to talk about Megan, and then they ended up just talking about his conviction and stuff. Like, oh my God, I did not come here for that. Okay, so yeah. So you have Emma Duncan and Maura Hooper, who both sound like white girls. And of course they're going to come forward. He's worth millions of dollars, is giving Bill Cosby all over again. And yeah. So, and like I said, I don't feel bad for him because black males love to be insane and continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. And that's insanity. So, yeah. So anyways, let me know what y'all think about Megan dating him and getting with him anyway, even though her friends were like, do not date him. Because there was another article. She said her friend said not to date him. He said, and this is the one I was looking up the other one where she said her friend said not to date him. And then I stumbled across this one where it's like, he's telling her not to date him. That is a huge red flag to me. Because then it's like people can treat you however and be like, I told you not to date me, So I was like, no, if you tell me not to date you, I'm not going to date you. I'm just not going to do it. Go where you're loved and where you're wanted and respected, ladies. Like don't be trying to force your love on nobody. People should be so lucky to get to have some black women love, So if you're that person you think is, to me, it's like a turn off. Like if you ain't into me, I'm not into you. That's a Leo thing for real. Like I am into you. So I don't know what is going on with Megan that she felt like I need to be with him even though he's telling me not to date him because he's got all this drama. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. You are so right, honey. Like, I'm so glad you're looking out for me. Like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and like do something different. This is not it. So see you when I see you. We're better off friends because I do think that Megan messed up her career by doing this. People are not going to forget. Women are not going to forget. And what was the benefit for her? Somebody was like, I hope she at least got a check out of this. Like he paid her to, basically be like his beard or pretend that she was liking him or something. And they're still playing this game. I just don't get the vibe that they're really together. But like I always say, if she like it, I love it. So thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.